let's get into it. The breaking news, not so breaking at this point, but the Ravens did it. Okay, EDC heard your pleas, and he did it. He signed Jaire Alexander.
This
All right.
graphic here from Locked On Ravens podcast showing the Ravens' updated secondary after the signing of Jaire Alexander. Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Jaire Alexander, Malachi Starks is going to be the starting group. And then Owuzie, TJ Tampa, Bo Braid, Sanusi Kane. And I mean, for right now, Jalen Arbor Davis is hanging on at the end there. On paper, looking like the best secondary in the league.
Yeah. We've had this before. Right. And to be fair, they were good. Okay. And I expect this. First, I should say that he signed for 1 year for $1 million. He could earn up to $2 more million in incentives. Right. I am not mad at this signing at all. All right. If healthy, that's the thing. The reason why you can get him at this price, the only reason why you can get him at this price is because injury concerns. He is hurt often.
Yeah, he's played when he's 7 or fewer games in 3 of the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's the only reason why we have him now. Now, if he's over that injury bug and he can stay healthy, which he absolutely could, you got yourself an excellent player, right? An excellent player who is in his prime, entering his prime years right now. So, this could be the cornerback that we've been looking for, that second cornerback that we've been looking for this whole time to play. Well, at this point, it's not opposite of Marlon Humphrey. Marlon is playing the nickel, playing great, but it'd be opposite of Nate Wiggins. But that is a dangerous secondary. And, of course, he's motivated, not just never mind the fact that he's playing with his good friend Lamar. He can be in line for a huge contract if he stays healthy and plays well. Yeah. This is the same thing that we discussed with Ronnie Stanley, where Ronnie Stanley was going through his injuries, and we said, "Hey, man, you got to let him play, play out next season." Really, we said we should sign him. We felt like his injuries were in large part the fault of the organization, but we're like, "Hey, he's too good to just throw out," and he showed everybody last year, and he made the team pay, right? Literally, they had to pay. They had to kick out the money to keep him. Jaire Alexander could do the same exact thing. He's in a position to where if he stays healthy and he returns back to form, which he could easily do, he's in line for a huge payday, and the Ravens better keep him at that point. Yeah. So I'm not mad at this at all.
What's going on, Flex Zone? Thanks for coming through.
What's up?
Yeah, no, I agree. He's an extremely talented player. Like I said, the injuries are the only reason that he's available at all at this point.
Yes.
But injuries come and go. Some guys are injury prone for several years and then they never get hurt again. Right? Some guys are Iron Men for a decade and then the injuries show up. I mean, you never know which way that's going to go. Hopefully he stays healthy. And we wish that for all players. If he is healthy, along with the rest of those guys, it looks like the best secondary in the league, and that'd be fantastic for Baltimore. The only question that does bring up is, like you said, if he plays well and he's healthy for the whole year, are you going to sign him to that long-term deal? And then what does that look like for guys like Zay on the other side of the ball? Right? Does Zay get the long-term deal because they've already re-signed Rashad Bateman? What are you going to do at guard because Faalele's contract is up. Voorhees has, I think, 2 more years, but he's coming up. So I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? You want to have
Cleveland. I think they only signed him to 1 more year, right?
Yeah,
then Cleveland.
He don't matter. I'm sorry, Ray.
He might win a starting job.
Sorry, Ray. Yeah, that don't mean he's good though. But they have to answer the question.
None of them are good.
They have to answer the question at guard. But again, it's a good problem to have to say, hey, we have too many good players to sign, right? Which is a position they could find themselves in a year. I would think at that point you would, and I think Hendo's alluding to this, let go of Marlowe and keep Jaire and Nate Wiggins as your starting corners. But
Well,
that's kind of getting ahead of everything here. He has to stay healthy and play well for this season before any of that's even a consideration.
I think that would be probably the plan. I mean, Marlon Humphrey is close to that point where he can start thinking about retirement if he wants to. I mean, I don't know if he plays as well as he did last year. He's still got some more left in the tank, but who knows? Who knows where his head is at in terms of that? But yeah, if Jaire Alexander returns to form, he's a younger, better player. You got Nate Wiggins, depending on how he plays, younger, better player, up and coming player. Those are the two that you go with moving forward. So he could be a casualty there. Talking about Marlon Humphrey.
Mm-hmm.
Look, obviously,
I got an idea.
Uh,
Maybe get rid of Roquan and keep all three of the corners.
well, I was gonna say Mark Andrews is an obvious one.
Yeah,
He shouldn't be on the books now. Roquan, yeah, if you're making if you're making these tough choices and not everybody can get paid, man, sorry, you know how we feel. It's defund the defense. You take from the defense first. You have to keep Zay Flowers. You have to keep Zay Flowers because again, if you don't keep Zay Flowers, who's your guy wide receiver, right? Like nobody believes Rashad Bateman is a true number one and has the potential to be a top wide receiver. Not even Rashad Bateman believes that. Okay.
Well, and normally I would say that's kind of you're making an assumption there, but no, he said very clearly twice now that he doesn't believe he's that guy with those extensions that he signed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you tell EDC to kick rocks and you go out and you play on your deal and you earn a much bigger deal.
Yeah.
But the trip saying inside linebackers don't cost too much, but your inside linebackers costing you $20 million a year. So that's why I say Roquan should go in order to keep those starting corners.
Yeah.
Now, the obvious question here: do you think this puts the Ravens over the top and makes them the favorites coming out of the AFC?
This move doesn't really change their status for me. It's all about Lamar. It's all about Lamar, and I think they're going to be the favorites. They're going to be at least one of the favorites. They're going to be up there. I expect this team to win 13 or 14 games, right? Whether they sign Jaire Alexander or not. I just, in today's NFL, I don't put that much stock in the defense, right? Like, yes, defense can make a difference. But we already had a bunch of defensive talent on the team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Jaire Alexander wasn't a need. But I mean, if he can return to form, that's a plus because we need turnovers. That's the one thing about this defense. We need turnovers, and they weren't good last year, but we gotta see how they turn it around. I'm not saying it definitely doesn't hurt to have them on there, but I already had them high up there. But the offensive line, make a move for a guard, a reliable guard, that would, in my mind, push them up to the top. Right now, I mean, the road still goes through Kansas City, man. I don't see that changing until somebody actually beats them.
Yeah, I agree. For me, this is like when you got Marcus Peters, and that was the move, right? And then when you got Roquan, and that was the move. And then when you went and got guys like Clowney and Kyle Van Noy, and that was the move. And Kyle Hamilton was the move that was going to put you over the top. Just getting one guy on defense, like I said, it's not to me going to put you over the top and make you the favorite when you have those holes on offense.
Yeah.
Now, if Falele and Voorhees or Cleveland go out there and they show a vast amount of improvement, then it's a different conversation, right? But as of right now, I mean, not having a very solid O-line on a team that's proven year in and year out that they get outcoached and outplayed on that side of the ball in the playoffs. I can't say that this moves the needle like that. You know, I would still expect them to go to the playoffs and probably lose on the road, like you said, to Kansas City, because the offense just has not been able to get it done with the talent that they have there and the coaching that they have on that side. And unfortunately, Jaire Alexander is not going to make that kind of a difference for them, I don't think.
Yeah. The Trib One, what's going on? It says Mike Green might be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah, could be. If it depends. Or Mike Green. Look, everybody was high on him. He shows a lot of potential, but on a team where a coach doesn't like playing rookies, and there's solid veterans in front of him, who knows how much playing time he'll get. If he can break into the starting lineup, sure. But I wouldn't write off Owe. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't write him off. I'm not saying that Mike Green can't be that guy. I'm just saying Owe, I think is going to play well. It's really if Kyle Van Noy takes a step back and he can get some more snaps there. I don't really think he's going to really take snaps from Owe. Yeah, because we look at Mike Green. I'm sorry, we look at Mike Green. Mike Green is a obviously you look at his tape, he's a good player. He's not a better athlete than Owe, right? So Owe has put some things together. That's his job,
Owe also, when put on, another 20 pounds like he did coming into his second season, it was a disaster in the second season. So I'm not super high on that move right now, but we'll see if he's more able to handle it this year than he was back then. I'm actually rooting for Owe. I think he's worked himself into being a pretty good player. But yeah, I would prefer, if I were them, to see Owe out there lighter and leaner and quicker, as opposed to bulking up. Brandon's asking, what holes do the Ravens have on offense? Their offensive line.
Yeah. Guards.
And depth at wide receiver.
Yeah. There you go. And those are major holes. Those are major concerns. Right? You don't want turnstiles at your guard positions. One really bad guard, I mean, that's not good, but you can kind of work around that. Two, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So and right now all we can do is hope for improvement. Right. I don't like that we take these type of risks on offense. We don't do it on defense. Right. Because if we're being real, why is Jaire Alexander here? Right. We drafted TJ Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We got Jalen Armour-Davis on the team. We just drafted Nate Wiggins. We still have Marlon Humphrey who signed Uzier. Marlon Humphrey played great last year. Why are we bringing in another corner? What was the reason for that? What was the need for that? We are much better off at cornerback than we are at offensive line. Mm-hmm. So much better off at cornerback, at secondary, than we are at offensive line. What was the need to bring in this type of player? But there's absolutely no urgency to even draft a guard.
I said vibes. That's why.
Right. But no, that's what we say, defund the defense, because there's no, they take risks on offense, and they only do that because of Lamar Jackson. That's the only reason they do things like this, because they just figure, man, Lamar got it. He'll be fine.
You got the email up?
I got it up now.
Okay.
I got it up now.
There's something in the email.
I don't have anything in the email.
Yeah, we just got a Cash App in the email.
It hasn't come through for me yet, so just relax.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they and listen, this is a move they absolutely should have made. It cost them nothing. It's a very low risk, very, very high reward kind of move. But again, our problem is and always has been, you don't do these kind of things for the offense. You don't take those kind of swings for the offense. But, you're not going to find offensive lineman of this caliber just sitting around in free agency at this point anyway. That's something that you needed to take care of early in free agency or early in the draft. These kind of players at other positions will, occasionally kind of find themselves looking for work in June, July. Doesn't really happen as much on the O-line just because it's so difficult to get 5 good ones. So the ship has kind of sailed on them really going out and acquiring better talent for that interior O-line. They are just really banking on Voorhees and Faalele taking steps forward and just being better players than they were last year. And, we'll see how that goes.
All right. And we got a $5 donation for our guy Andrew. Says, "What's up? What's up, Andrew?
Thank you very
Appreciate
much, Andrew.
that. Appreciate that. Look, if you guys want to be awesome like Andrew, like Suge, and you want Microphone Man to do the Park Heights strut on your screen, just click that link that you see in the chat box. The one that's pinned in the chat box will take you to our Streamlabs page, or you can send us a Cash App, $ LBHTShow. That's how you do it. Also, super chats work as well. We appreciate all forms of donation over here. All right. But yeah, no, that's the only thing I don't like about what they're doing on the offense. If you have faith in these guys, cool, right? Like, you can see the potential with Faalele. He's shown flashes, but that's not good enough to say we're not bringing in any veteran at all, right? I can't even begin to make an argument for Voorhees other than, well, they like him.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything, and you haven't seen anything to show that he can actually play. We're just going off of their word. And how do they know? They haven't seen him play. Right? They've seen him play very little.
And they didn't
not
like
enough.
what they saw.
Right. Not enough to say these guys are going to be the starters. That's what gets me upset about this in a year where you're trying to win it all. What's up, Osman? Better late than never. Yes. Zeke Okage was good. Salute.
Don C says, Jose, not to be a smartass, but it would help if Lamar had more dudes in his past that played left or right guard. Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we got 83 people in here,
Louisville.
man. I some Ravens news went down. We got 83 people in here today, man. They want to hear the breakdown. Hit that like button. If you're new in here, man, hit that subscribe button. We still got some weeks before football really kicks up, but yes, the big news: Jaire Alexander signs with the Ravens. Good move, right? But these are the type of moves we do this every year, man. Every year, the Ravens find somebody for the bare minimum or as low as they possibly can. And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it works, EDC's a genius, right? And he's going to look like a genius. I think Jaire Alexander will be fine. I think this is a move that works. Which is another reason why we didn't need to draft Malachi Starks. But, look, the defense, here's what I got to say about the defense. No excuses. Zach Orr, me and B like Zach Orr. We think he was just a coach that just needed some time, right? He's a brand new defensive coordinator. It looked like he figured some things out towards the end of the year. We're not down on Zach Orr at all. We like him. What's the guy's name? Chuck Smith, the defense,
Dr. Rush or whatever they call him.
Dr. Rush, yeah. He was hyping them up. He was hyping them up during their OTAs, which I love, man. I love how these guys have each other's backs. That's the one thing that I always speak positively about Harbaugh is how, whether he believes it or not, he's always going to hype up his players, right, and his coaches. I respect the hell out of that, and I love that Chuck had Zach Orr's back, but we believe in Zach Orr, right? So I think the defense is going to be fine, but the defense has to be held accountable. We need to talk about that. We never hold this defense accountable. And what do I mean? The defense, whether they play good, bad, it is what it is. But when we get to the playoffs, we never say, hey, where's the defense? Hey, how come we didn't get a stop? Hey, how come we didn't get a turnover? it never gets talked about. What gets talked about is that interception from Lamar, though, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the first quarter, but that killed us. That interception he threw in the first quarter when we were up 7-0 killed us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That fumble killed us. But
go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, but where was the defense all game? Where was Roquan? Even Marlowe. I don't like to talk bad about Marlowe because he plays so well, but where are the turnovers? Where is the pick six then? Where is the forced fumble? Where's the stop? Those are the things that we used to hear from the old defense that we try to pretend we can be again. If that defense played like that, we would be asking those questions. How come the defense didn't make plays?
Yeah. I think with this signing, with drafting Malachi Starks and the edge in the second round there, I think that you have to look at this defense and say, this season you've got to give up sub 20 for the season. It's under 20 points a game. And in the playoffs, not only do you have to lock up those offenses, but like I said, you have to force turnovers. And if you're not forcing turnovers and you're not holding everybody to, we'll say, under 24 in the playoffs, because they're better teams, then we gotta ask what's going on with the defense, right? Again, all of the resources are being put on that side of the ball, so you have to expect the level of play to rise accordingly, right?
Yes.
If you think that young edge is defensive rookie of the year, you think Malachi Starks was a steal at the end of the first, you think Jaire Alexander is a top corner, then the level of the defensive play has to go way up this season from where you were last year.
And shout out to Dandy. What's up, Dandy? Thanks for coming through. But to be clear, I think these guys are that good. I think they can absolutely do that, right? So that's what I expect, And if it doesn't happen, that's where our criticisms come in. It's the same thing in the AFC Championship game. Who got the criticism? Lamar. Lamar didn't run, bad throw. Me and B were sitting there saying, "Where's the defense?" And the response was, "Hey, they only held them to they held them to 17 points. They held them to 17 points. They did their job. They needed to hold them to 13 points, just like their defense did."
Yeah.
They're about to score a touchdown. No, they're not. We're gonna punch that ball out. Yeah.
Their defense did the job.
Yeah, no, their defense is doing what we're supposed to do. So, but that's what we expect. We expect the defense. The defense has to carry this team, not the offense. All the investment has been in the defense, right? You want Lamar and Derrick Henry to do their job, and they will. They will always score points. Those two will always put up points. But if they have a bad drive, you need to go out there and make the opposing offense, have a bad drive. That's the type of attitude I want to see from this defense.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we turn the ball over? Don't worry. I'm going to get it right back. All right.
Yeah,
that's the type of confidence
the same way you say, oh, well, we held them to 20 points. I would look at the Ravens offense in that game, like say they scored 25. That has to be enough. Right?
Yes.
If you're that all-world defense and you've got all these star players over there and the offense puts up 25 points, that has to be enough. You have to make it enough.
Yes.
Like that's your job.